Hello and welcome to the Elle Collective. I'm Kenzie.
And I'm Rachel. With over 350 weddings under our belts, we help you create a wedding filled with big moments, real connection, fabulous decor, and experience-focused celebration that will have guests reliving your event for months to come.
Each episode, you'll hear us share our favorite and not so favorite wedding day experiences from real-life weddings. We chat about trends in the industry and interview experts so that you have the best tools as you plan your once-in-a-lifetime occasion.
Okay, hi everybody. Today we have on Michelle. Michelle is the owner of michelledunlap.design. We're so excited she's here. Michelle and I met at several weddings over the past couple years, and we've had so many good conversations. Once we started to recognize each other at weddings, we really got chatting, and oh my gosh, this girl is so talented at what she does. Her and her team do hair and makeup, but today we're hoping to chat about hair, bridal hair specifically, and we're so excited to have her on. So Michelle, thank you for being here.
Thank you. I'm so excited. Actually, I've been looking forward to this for quite some time. So
that's amazing. We have too. I'm excited to get all your opinions. You and I have really gotten going a couple of times about bridal hair. So it's something we're both passionate about, and I'm excited to talk about it. So walk us through, like, you're a bride for the first time, you know, you're just starting to find your hairstylist. What are some things to look for? Like, what's that initial process look like, at least with your team?
Yes, thank you. Actually, right now we just put on a new inquiry form on our website, which actually makes it so much easier to do the process of finding the exact hairstylist that you're looking for. And then it has a few questions on there to really decipher if we are the best team for your day. So that being said, when you go on my website, there is this awesome little form that you just fill out, and then it sends directly to my email. And then we kind of chat back and forth a little bit. And then I have sometimes I have the brides send me some inspiration photos to make sure that we truly are the good fit for you, just because there are some styles that I don't really truly find as my perfect style to put out there. And then same with some of my amazing stylists too. They have, different skill levels, and I just want to make sure that we are the right team for their day. So we make sure before, you're 3 months in and you realize we're not the people for you. So yeah, it's the inquiry form really is the best way to make sure that we are the perfect people for you.
That's huge. And truly, like, it makes all the difference when you have vendors that are the right fit for you. Like, as a wedding planner, I am always coaching brides through, like, interview your vendors, make sure that they are like the team that you want to work with on your wedding day. And so I love how, you also put the work in on your end to make sure that they are the right fit and that you're going to serve your brides well and that, you guys are going to have fun on that day. Well, okay, give us something, Michelle, that, like, you wish your brides knew, like, going into the wedding day, or like, what is a question that you get asked all the time? Or like, I'm just looking at it from a planner's perspective of, as I'm helping brides, prepare for their wedding day and navigate finding a hairstylist for their day. What is something that you wish all of your brides knew ahead of time?
Yes, absolutely. When they are filtering through all of these hundreds of millions of amazing photos of hair, when it comes down to it, it's definitely the stylist and what they are capable of. And now I have had many times people ask me, I have 8 bridesmaids and I have a 2-hour time frame. Is there any way that I can get what I want, out of the deal? And I'm like, well, it just truly depends on the style you're going for and how many stylists you want on your wedding day. So to be honest, we have plenty of stylists to normally to fit that. But that being said, it is an additional cost. And normally we just have to definitely talk about that beforehand. We can always make it work, but it is one of those things that we have to talk about before. So when it comes down to the styles that we are going for, that's truly how we decide how the timeline goes. And when it comes to planning for the day, the biggest part is being open and honest to your stylist. And if we aren't even your stylist yet and you haven't even booked us, I still go through and talk all the different topics so that they know moving forward to the next stylist that they know what they're looking for. When it comes to like the products that you like and need, now the one thing that I like to say is, to reference, is I actually had a wedding she was allergic to all the things. So it came down to me researching the products that I could bring on her wedding day that I knew was not going to affect her in any way. Well, that did take more time because it's product that I'm not normally used to using when it comes down to it. So I love Moroccan Oil, I love Kevin Murphy, and I love Amika. Those are like my go-to products. But when you have somebody who is allergic to all fragrance and all those kinds of things, I definitely have to take the time to look into all that stuff and make sure that it is the perfect fit for that bride as well.
One thing that I always coach my brides on is like when they tell me, oh, I'm just going to have like my childhood, hair, like the person that cuts my hair is going to do my hair for my wedding day. And I'm like, those are two so different things, you guys, like so far from the same. And so tell us a little bit, I mean, your experience of like, it's not just like the updo itself is completely different, but then keeping time on a wedding day and like, rotating through all of these people, like there are so many more things that go into a wedding than cutting somebody's hair.
Absolutely. I actually could not agree more. And I do hair actually on the side as well for my friends and for my family. And so I have that kind of background. And so I do have friends that I've been doing their hair for 15 years and they're like, well, you're my original stylist. Now I am a bridal hairstylist, so I will totally go down that road. But now I have been hired for makeup because their childhood stylist is going to do their hair. And the hardest part for me is to bite my tongue, especially when I know that it is not exactly what they really actually asked for, or all the bobby pins that are showing, or the amount of hairspray that's literally dripping from their hair. And it's really super tragic, in my opinion, only because they aren't truly trained for bridal hair. And it is not just whipping their hair up. You are trying to get somebody ready at 7, 8, 9 a.m. in the morning for them to last until midnight. And the one thing that they want to do is go and just hairspray it, when really that's not the way to hold the style in all day long. It is all the training that we have gone through and the continuing training. I mean, fashion and design and all that fun stuff is continuously changing and evolving. And if they're not willing to take those classes, I truly would just be so nervous to have somebody like that do my hair on my wedding day. But now I get it. They are hairstylists, but that means that they cut hair or color hair depending on, not always are they cross-trained.
Right. And not only is it just the bride's hair, it's that time management piece too that's so important. There's something, it would be like, speaking as a wedding photographer, it would be like if someone came in and was like, well, I just want this family portrait photographer to do photos on my wedding day. Yes, they know how to use a camera. Yes, they'll probably be okay during the portrait session, but there's so much more to it. It's really the time management piece. If, like you said, if there's 8 bridesmaids in 2 hours, you got to know what you're doing. There's no time to waste, and the hair has to stay all day. So as you were talking about that with like the hair staying all day, I know this is a conversation you and I have had before. What are your thoughts on updos versus having your hair down with those glam waves? Like, walk us through, if I'm a bride getting married in August versus getting married in January, does your advice on some of these things change? Like, what do you tell brides when they're like, this is what I'm wearing for my dress, this is what I'm thinking for my hair? Do you kind of walk them through like, here's the things to look out for, your hair might fall, if walk us through all that. What do you tell them to look out for?
Yes, absolutely. There's so much to that. So many layers to that. So all the way, backing it all the way up, is I definitely try not to persuade my bride. I will definitely tell them they can have whatever they want. It's all depending on the prep, the hair type, the texture, the thickness, and then I go into all of that. As I had said before, is I drill my people. I ask all the questions because truly, I can give you the glam waves if you want to put some clip-ins in your hair. Well, if it's July and you want to wear clip-ins on your wedding day, more power to you, truly. Like, if that's really what you want, I will give that to you. We will bring all the products to make sure that it stays and does all the things, but I always give my expertise or my expert advice on that is not what you want to do on a July wedding day when it's super hot and all you want to do is move and dance and be with all your friends. I do talk about the potential for another style, only especially when they want their hair down. And then I say, depending on the weather, depending on the humidity, depending on the rain, do you have another option in mind? And so we do this on our trial day. So I give them what they want on their trial day. Just like when you go in to try on a dress, pretty often you don't buy that first dress. It's just like the trial. You don't stick with that very first style unless they absolutely love it. And most of the time, when they absolutely love it, it's because they have sent me 30 inspo photos, and we go into all of those inspo photos, and then we see what is the best fit for their hair. Once they sit in my chair and we talk about the texture and the thickness and all that good stuff. And if they have extensions, if they want clip-ins, normally that 4 to 8 week before the wedding is when we do the trial. So that being said, it gives us some time. If they do want clip-ins or they want to go in and get extensions, the permanent ones put in or anything like that, then we are able to kind of perfect that look. And then we email back and forth. And then there's always an option for them to come back and sit back in my chair before the wedding day to just try that second style just in case. Now, my very own stylist, Casey, I love her dearly. She got married in August of 2021. We did, I think, 3 trials for her wedding day, but she is the perfect, most prime example. She has crazy, beautiful, thick, textured hair. We made her look so beautiful 3 different times. Her wedding day, it rained, and we didn't even try that type of style. But her wedding day style turned out to be the most beautiful style because she was open and honest, and she trusts her stylist. So I gave her the most beautiful look. It wasn't even anything that we had even planned. And it's just one of those where she is the prime example of that it doesn't matter how many times you try these things. If you trust your stylist, they will give you exactly what you should have on your wedding day. It just is tough when you are like me and I kind of know what I want. And then if I try it, then I realize, ooh, maybe I didn't love that.
Well, and I think that seems to be the theme of, gosh, Rachel, every episode that we do and every guest that we have on here is, I think every wedding vendor would say, if you trust me and you are able to just like have those conversations with me so I know what you want, but I do this all the time. You know, like this is our full-time job and we love what we do. We love our brides and we want to make it work for you. And so I think, like you said, like we're always more than happy to like try what you want, but also knowing that, hey, you know, if we advise you to kind of pivot in a different direction, it's not because we're trying to be jerks that don't want to make your dreams come true. It's that we truly like, we've seen other things that might work better. So I loved your example of, you know, your stylist that, you know, was able to pivot and go with the flow and make a really beautiful day out of it. So no, that's awesome. Okay, here is a question that I want your honest opinion on that I get asked from my brides a lot as a planner, and I am no hair expert, that's for sure. So I have a couple of brides that will say, hey, you know, a few of my bridesmaids don't want to get their hair done, or, you know, a few aren't looking for like makeup. So you have this mixture of like some bridesmaids getting professional services, some brides trying to do it, or bridesmaids trying to do it themselves. Like, do you have any advice for the bride that's like, I really want all of my bridesmaids to get it done? Like, how have you seen that addressed, or any insight there?
Never, ever force your people to get their hair done when they don't want to get their hair done. Because trust me, they're going to hate it. And let me tell you, that stylist is never going to feel comfortable trying to make her love her hair. Now, that being said, if she's not very good at doing her hair, that's really a hard situation. And I hate to get stuck between all of that, but I truly do say that really it's the bride's day. And if you can just try to suck it up and enjoy it, then just sit down and enjoy it and be a trooper. But don't sit there and be a sulky little brat about it, because man, does that suck too, because it gets really uncomfortable for everybody in the room and all over a hairstyle. Now, I've gotten galleries back that are so beautiful, but then you have that one bridesmaid that did her hair and she makes the picture look terrible. So I have a struggle with it. So it is my personal opinion is never force them, but truly have a run through then. You have a trial with your own bridesmaids that want to have and do their own style. Have that. You guys get together and have your own little weekend and then go through the run through. And if that bride loves it, great. If she doesn't though, then it's a discussion with your stylist. And be open and honest with your stylist, because man, it is never fun to get there and realize this girl does not want to get her hair done. And here we are forcing her to get her hair done, and she is sulky sitting in my chair. It's not fun, but it is something that you only get one wedding day. And it's one of those where truly suck it up and just be happy to be there and be the one that's standing next to her on her wedding day.
Yeah. And so I love that you brought up the picture aspect because, right, that's the one thing that lasts forever. And I'm sure you've seen like thousands of galleries at this point. Because the thing with hairstylists is your team is working, I mean, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 weddings on a weekend, and you're getting all those galleries back. You're seeing a lot. So do you ever have brides come to you and ask questions about their hair in photos and how it's going to hold up? I mean, I know that's kind of the conversation we had before, but I'm thinking specifically of those little tendrils that come out of updos that are at the back of your neck or like near the ears. What are your thoughts with those? Because as a photographer, I have seen some things.
For real. Oh gosh, girl. I love it. As a stylist, it is a cringe-worthy thing for me when I see somebody's little tendrils that are not the ones that are just literally tucked behind the ear all cute. Like, yeah, they're great for the one while she's sitting in the chair. But, you know, as soon as she gets up out of that chair and she goes and bends over and picks something up, they're now drooping and they're now in her face and all that good stuff. I am all for you bobby pin that in. Bobby pin it to where you cannot see that bobby pin, though. That's a whole nother thing. But the tendrils are a really touchy subject because some people can have tendrils and they'll stay all day. They'll stay for the next day. Some people have tendrils or have those hairs around their face that don't hold curl for nothing. Those are the ones that should not have them hanging out at all. Those should be sprayed back. That is another one that is a topic with your stylist. You talk about that beforehand. If they don't hold curl, then those are ones that need to be pulled back because it just looks undone in a beautiful photo or just kind of looks messy and frizzy. And I don't like that either.
Yeah, and I'm speaking as the photographer. That's what I see a lot is they fall within like sometimes half an hour to an hour of the stylist leaving. You know, they've recurled it like 16 times to the point that it's like fried. I'm sitting there going, I mean, I can't edit that out. You know, that's that limp piece of hair on the back of your neck. That's not what your stylist intended. So I'm glad that you were open and honest about that. I love that advice. Just talk to your stylist about it and see what they recommend with your hair type.
Yes, I feel like we are very intentional about those little tiny tendrils that actually sometimes drive me nuts. Now, there are styles that are that undone, messier look, and they have straight and curled, and it totally goes with the style. But the few that are more of that beautiful, like tousled up boho, and you have like maybe 4, that as soon as the humidity hits or if there's any sort of rain, they are gone and they are flat and they just kind of look messy. And so I do actually give every single bride that books with me a bride box that comes with a touch-up kit. And it's a touch-up for everything versus hair versus makeup, but always in there is hairspray, there's bobby pins, there's little tiny combs, there's a mirror. Some of them, I mean, last year they were all hair brushes and things like that. So if that were to happen, and I always look at the maid of honor or one of the bridesmaids or the assistant and say, if you see those, you pin them up, because then that is going to create a gorgeous photo. And I have definitely had brides circling back. I have had brides ask me about the photos. They want to make sure that it's beautiful in every angle. Like when it comes down to the style that they pick, you know, those big, beautiful, like pulled out, and they're like all kind of, they call it the boho pull out wraps and twists. Yeah, they're gorgeous from the back, but have you ever seen what they look like from the side? Some of them kind of like protrude out. So I make sure we talk about that. We need to talk about, what do you want to actually see from the frame? This is what we see, and this is what you see, but you're seeing this picture of just the back, which you're not actually going to see at all unless you look in the mirror, you know? So let's make sure that we love what you see up front first before we nail down that back of that style. So a lot of women, when I have had the beautiful big boho pulled out, so gorgeous look, I turn them around and they're like, ooh, it's so big. Well, yeah. that's what's in this picture. And that's what this style is big and beautiful and boho. They don't actually want that much volume. And so then we talk about that first. So that they know and understand that I'm not going to try to create a style that they think they want because they see it on Pinterest and then they realize that's not actually what they want.
No, I love this because I think as a bride, like it's their first time, you know, like they don't know what they don't know. And so I think that booking a vendor with so much experience, so much insight and like guidance is so key, because you can see, I mean, that in all aspects of your wedding, like you can see something on Pinterest, you can see something, whether it be for decor or your hair or whatever that looks like. It's not how it actually comes through on your wedding day. And so making sure that you have like a realistic expectation of what you're asking for. So I love your guidance on that. Okay, one of the trends that I'm seeing lately is, you know, kind of either like touch-ups halfway through the day, but also like, you know, with that second reception dress, like then throwing your hair up in like maybe a fun ponytail or something like that. Tell me some of your favorite trends that you're seeing. What do you think of that? Like, have you stayed around to do the final look at the end of the night? All those things.
So this year moving forward, I do have some additional stylists that we are talking about training and getting into that later in the afternoon touch-up hour or that second look hour. And then she would just come back for that 2-hour time frame for that and not come for the early morning time. That she would just be hired for that. So that is a whole nother thing that I want to do moving forward, but I don't want to stay and do all that fun stuff. Unless it's like I am going to Cancun and I'm staying all day and I'm literally going to be doing all the things. And I'm super excited for that. But that's a whole nother thing. Now, that's another fad of cutting the hair off. Now, I can do that because I'm a licensed cosmetologist.
We've been chatting about that a little bit offline. So you have to walk us through that a little bit. Are you seeing that more and more?
Yes, I am so stoked. I actually get to do it in April in Cancun, but I get to do 3 different looks on her because she is doing all this fun stuff, which I'm so excited for. So she gets to do, you know, the dinner before the groom's dinner. And then, so I get to create a gorgeous look there. And then we get to do the morning look. And then after her first look, I'll do another look and then we will do the chop, which is so exciting. So I'm super stoked for that. I have only done it in the past one other bride. She was one of my best friends though. So that was a whole nother thing, is like, we got to do that and just do something fun because she trusted me to do that because I cut her hair, you know? So
right.
I do love that trend. I think that trend is super cute and so fun. Definitely though, talk it over with your spouse, because that is a scary thing when they don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I've never even thought about that, but yeah, you should probably make sure the groom's on board before.
Okay, so Michelle, give us a little bit of a background. Like, how long have you been doing this? How did you get started? Like, clearly you are so passionate about it, but tell us a little bit of like the why behind what you do.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, I have been doing hair for 15 years. I actually started, my mom owned a salon for worked in a salon and then was a part of the salon world for 30 years. She owned her own for a while, and it just really kind of, it stemmed from there. I grew up in the salon, so I totally loved playing with everybody's hair. I have 4 sisters, and I got to play with all their hair. Not a single one of them know how to do hair at all. I'm the only one. And of course, I'm the only one that has boys. So that's a whole fun part. Now, that being said, both my kids have some pretty rad hair, so that's pretty fun. And so that being said, it has been very much so like a part of our daily life. My boys know all about the bridals. They help me in sanitizing the tools. They help me fold the towels for the salon. They are very much so a part of the bridal world. You'll just never see them on social media. You may see their fingers, but that's about it. They just don't need to be a part of that, but they do love, and you will surely meet them if you come for a trial. They're always here, and they always come down and greet my brides, and they always give them cute little sweet knowledge bombs or photos or whatever they want to give. They are pretty wonderful. So you'll meet them when they're here, but yeah, it's pretty fun. So truly, it has been a passion of mine for my whole life, pretty much.
I love that. I love that it's so integrated into your life too. I just love hearing that from other business owners. That's like the ideal for me. So just for our last question, can you tell us a little bit more about your team? You know, how many people are on your team right now? And then if someone has a follow-up question, where can they find you if they want to reach out?
Well, right now I have a team of 5 girls. And right now, my main girl, Julia, is my awesome makeup artist that's been my right-hand girl for however long. I can't even put a year on it. She was my nanny before then, and then became an SD, and then became like my perfect makeup artist. So I love her dearly. And then I have Maddie, who's been training, and she just has so much passion, and I love that so much. And she does hair and makeup. And then I have my girl, Sam. She's awesome. She's my behind the scenes girl. She's been doing a lot of like the fun honey book and all that good fun stuff that I'm really trying to dive into. And then I have Morgan. She's brand new cosmetologist, brand new as in I think 2 years in, I'm pretty sure. And so she just really has been just showing up for me every single time I have any sort of training or anything. She is right there. She is a great learner. She sucks up all the knowledge, which is incredible. And then I have my girl Casey, who has been dealing with some fun things at home. So right now she didn't do very many events with us this past year, but hopefully moving forward she'll be there front and center, I hope. So we'll see. But then I am hoping to expand my team even more. And that's a whole nother thing, is how to find that perfect stylist that can fit in with all of us. We are great. I think we get along with absolutely everybody under the sun, but I also want to find somebody that has the passion and the joy that we have as well. So I want to move forward in getting a bigger amount of people to be able to offer for multiple weddings on multiple days of the weekend and all that good stuff. But if anybody were to need to find me, I do have this amazing website that my one of my best friends does manage and all that fun stuff. So that is at michelledunlap.design. That is my website. And then that is where you can find all sorts of good information. It does have all of my packages broke down on there. So if you ever just want to know exactly what it costs, it's all on there. And there's no hidden cost to anything. Everything is literally right there. It's a lot of knowledge. So most people like to just email me, and I kind of break it all down easier in an email that way. And that's okay. But so that way, otherwise, Instagram, I don't do booking stuff of Instagram, but I definitely have lots and lots of photos for you to look at and find inspiration photos if you would like on my website and on my Instagram.
Perfect. And we'll be sure to link all that in the show notes too, so that if someone wants to book you and your amazing team, they sound like quite the crew, they can just look in the show notes and find you. But otherwise, Michelle, thank you so much for being here today. We really appreciate you sharing all your insight and wisdom and knowledge from everything you've done with hair over the years. And it was super fun having you on.
Fun. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It was awesome.
Thanks for hanging out with us. We would love to keep planning your big day with you. So make sure that you like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future content.
Want to weigh in on today's topic or have any questions for us? All of our contact info, sponsors, and links from today's episode are in the show notes below. See you next time.